Well, hello, and welcome to the Personalization with Ninetail Bootcamp course, lesson number 6. Getting ready for a personalization implementation presented by Alex Brandreuter, co-founder of Ninetail. If you want to learn more about him, just watch the interview in the introduction section of this course on headlesscreator.com. All right, let's go ahead and bring him in. Alex, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. And for those of you that are watching live, if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll ask it throughout the presentation. Alex, it's all yours. Take over.
Yes, hello and welcome from my side to lesson 6, getting ready for a personalization implementation. So first of all, let's ask ourselves, or let's recap what personalization actually means. So it's the process of delivering the best possible experience. So how? So you should tailor your messaging, the products you show, or other content you show to the right person at the right time in the channel they expect it to be. So to deliver a real good personalization, you should think about the user and the experience. So often people think about optimization and lifting conversion rates. Sure, it's brilliant to lift your conversion rates into heights you could never expect, but the key point here is to always think about the user first and the experience first, and all the other good stuff will come from itself. So for true personalization, you need to have a headless composable architecture. Whoa, that's really a bold statement. But what I want to say is we are living in a great era of technology where we have the freedom to choose from the best tools for the tasks which we want to achieve. So until now, personalization was often complex because we couldn't connect the right tools to create, and had to create a lot of new content. So right now we can do that. So to properly execute your personalization plan, you must make good use of your data and the content and the other MarTech solutions you use. And so the key of this is because a lot of people always think it's combining of only content. No, it's combining content data with customer data. And in a composable architecture, you're able to do this. And it's not hard to do anymore. So what is composable personalization? Again, as I said, you need a composable headless architecture to do it. So basically, you don't have to, but it's better to have it. So because if we have a look on the more traditional CMS, they simply don't offer the flexibilities or the features which are necessary to do a real effective real-time personalization. Most of them are lacking features to integrate data from other data sources like your CRMs, like your data warehouses and so on, to move that data in and use it to create really vivid and adaptive experiences. So with headless composable architecture, it's possible to do that. And also one step for that is to use a headless CMS. So because headless CMS, from the first point, make it possible to create the experiences, and you can create these experiences inside of the CMS, and they make it possible to create this really personalized experiences in any channel you want to do, whether it be a website, but it can also be a app or notifications or emails like that. So to recap it, why is a headless CMS so great in doing this very scalable real-time personalization? So first of all, it lets you atomize your content. So it makes you thinking and content being components. So you don't think anymore in pages alone. So every content piece is a small component that can be reused. It allows for composable architecture. So basically, headless is one cornerstone of a composable architecture. And I explained before that a composable architecture is very, very important to do scalable personalization. It is more scalable itself. So from one side, from a technical perspective, but also from a process perspective. And it supports omni-channel personalization because it doesn't think about the head, the layout, or how it is rendered on a website. So, but not only the CMS is the only point. So you need a complete stack. You need a modular, flexible, and scalable technology stack, which is the key to which is the key in a fast-paced digital world today. So, for example, let's have a look on how something like that can be set up with Ninetail. So For sure, you have in the core, you have like this personalization platform, but it's one part of your complete personalized digital experience stack. On the left side, for example, you have the content sources. This can be something like Contentful, a Graph CMS, or other headless CMS, but it can also be like your product management system. It can be even your database. So there your content is stored, and this content is orchestrated basically by the data which a personalization platform like Ninetail brings in. Then you have your user journey touchpoints, which get normally controlled by SDKs for very modern stacks like React.js, Next.js, Gatsby, Vue, and so on. But you can also use this content and this personalized data inside of emails, in your mobile app, in a shop, or in notifications, and so on and so on. To create this really personalized messaging, you need normally data. For sure, you can collect the data from a website, but to make it really, really interesting, you should think about what data you have, and this data can normally be in a silo in your company. So for example, you could be using like Segment or a Shopify or a BigCommerce or a CRM like Salesforce or HubSpot, or also you have your homegrown CDP or like a data warehouse. All this data is just waiting for you to be used in a personalized experience. And as a last point, what would be personalization or A/B testing without knowing if our personalization has worked in the end? So we need to pump data about these experiments to tools like Google Analytics or Mixpanel to in the end know what works and what not. So as a short recap, the composable architecture allows you to use different solutions for different needs. The headless CMS is for the content data. Ninetail in this case is your personalization solution. Commerce APIs can be used for your commerce solutions like the Shopify or also like a commerce layer. You have analytics integrations, which is often a Google Analytics, but you also have other external customer data like customer data platforms, CRMs, data warehouses to get the customer data, which is key to create your content experience around it. Now let's get to content modeling for personalization. So the first point here, which is very caring to me, is standardization and reusing. And I think this is one of the most powerful parts about headless CMS, or what all this headless wave brought to us. So let's get to another experience, which is Google Ads. So I think nobody ever asks about, hey, why is Google Ads combining this headline with this description? So you just give it like 5 headlines, 5 descriptions, and it combines them to create a personalized ad to the user who will see it in the end. So, and this is basically personalization. It just doesn't get rendered on a website. Okay, it can get rendered on a website, which is Google, but not a website you control. So, but it is using personalization in the end. And that's the key thing. So you're always thinking about your USPs from the headlines. You're not thinking about how it is rendered. So it's not like a hero component or something on that on your website. So let's go to like how a content model could look like for personalization. So let's say, okay, we are going more into the website area. So like, let's have a hero section. This hero section, so could be like the most upper block on your website, but it could also be on your app, like on a home app screen. You could have like this hero where you're showing a headline, a subline, an image, and a button. The image here and the button would be referenced. The image would have a URL and the alternative text, and the button has a text and a link. So this would be like not a very atomic content model, but already quite good. So let's say we are using this hero section and are personalizing it. So let's create variants. So that means, okay, we are creating like a second or a third hero and are attaching it to this hero section. So the cool thing here about the reusability is whenever we will use this hero section on another page or